Need some coins for that God Squad you've always wanted? Check out rockbottomcoins.com for the cheapest and fastest coins anywhere. Use code Zirksee at checkout for 10% off your order. And if you guys want to compete in tournaments for cash prizes, check out tourneycrypt.com.
The whole thing wobbin'.
What's going on, guys? It's Zirksee coming at you today with another YouTube video, and today I'm going to be going over the best chemistries and abilities to run in Madden 20. Now, of course, it's going to be based off of my personal experiences with the game and my personal preferences of what I like to use. Of course, if you guys have a different opinion, let me know down below, and maybe I'll switch up my own chemistries, maybe if you guys can convince me to go otherwise. But I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I do, how I get all my chemistries, why I actually use 2 different chemistries per offense and per defense, and what abilities I personally think are the best ones in the game to use for pass rushers, for linebackers, for defensive backs, whatever. Let's get right into it. So, we're going to start off with the defensive side of the ball, and we're going to go with the linebackers. Now, first up, I should say this. When it comes to my personal team, I run a 3-4 defense, which means that my outside linebackers are going to be pass rushers. So my Von Miller, my Lawrence Taylor, both these guys are pass rushers for me. Now, if you run a 4-3 defense, it means your outside linebackers are probably going to be in a zone coverage or a man coverage a majority of the time. So it's going to be a little bit different. But if you run a 3-4, same things. I personally should run the same thing as me. So Von Miller, I of course have pass rush chemistry on him. Now, this is not just for my outside linebackers. I run pass rush on my outside linebackers, my right side linebacker, my left side linebacker, and all of my defensive line. My left end, my right end, my DT1, my DT2. Now, of course, this is very, very important. This is going to be very big when it comes to picking up different chemistries and leveling up those chems. You guys need to listen to this. When it comes to these players, get backups. Now, they don't even have to be elite. You can literally get gold cards and still be able to go ahead and put chemistries on them, and of course, if they get into the game, you want to have at least a gold card there so that they're somewhat solid. So you can get golds for, 3K a pop or whatever. Put them at backup outside linebacker. Put them at right end 2, left end 2. Of course, you can go up to 4 defensive tackles. That's big when it comes to building your chemistries. As you guys can see, I have 3 tiers active when it comes to Von Miller and his pass rush. Now, of course, it gives him a pursuit, a press, a catch, an impact block, and it also gives him a power move, finesse move, which for some reason it's not showing right there. But it does give him another power move and a finesse move, which is really all you're going for here with pass rush. I think right now, pass rush is super, super important, and I think it's going to be important all year long because you guys already know pass rush is already really good. You can make it just a little bit better and be able to get to the quarterback a lot quicker. It's definitely going to help you out because a lot of the times this year, your QB, your opponent's QB really doesn't have that much time in the pocket. So if you can make your pass rush just a little bit better by putting the pass rush chemistry on them, and then of course getting, the power move, the finesse move, I highly recommend you guys go ahead and put it on your outside linebackers if you pass rush your outside linebackers, and of course your entire defensive line. Now, I guess this really depends on your team and where you guys want to run abilities, but personally speaking, I think it's best to go ahead and put on your 2 best pass rushers, and I prefer them to be whoever you have on the outside edge because I feel as though edge rush is really the one that you really need to focus on this year because edge rush is super, super overpowered when it comes to the edge threat ability. So, of course, players like DeMarcus Lawrence is so OP because he has that edge threat ability. So, if you guys are going to get a superstar player, D-Law, you definitely need to pick up if you don't have, the extra training points available to go ahead and power up someone like Von Miller, Lawrence Taylor, even someone high enough like that. When it comes to abilities, though, when it comes to pass rushers, personally, this is what I like to use. My favorite X Factor, I think, is Unstoppable Force. I think it's probably the best one when it comes to pass rushing, and I like to use 2 pass rushers because I have Lawrence Taylor, I have Von Miller, I have them both on the edge. They both have edge threat, and if you guys watch any of my gameplays, you guys know both of them get like 2 sacks a game, if not more. So personally, Unstoppable Force is probably the best ones because you get pass rush wins, leads to quicker block shedding. It's overpowered, okay? They literally come in, it's not overpowered, but they come in just completely screaming at people. When it comes to the actual abilities, of course, I like to go with under pressure here because you can see we can get clutch, indoor baller, homer. These 2, it's whatever. Clutch is pretty solid when it comes to different positions, but outside linebackers and pass rushers, I like under pressure. Bigger area of effect for QB pressure and disruption. You guys know throws under pressure this year definitely can be very inaccurate. Power specialist, of course, faster power move animations during the pass rush. That's super important. And if they can get edge threat and you have them on the edge, you 100% need edge threat. Dominant pass rush moves from the edge. So you get that from the edge, and then you get faster power move animations during the pass. So to have power specialist, edge threat, and under pressure, my opinion, as well as unstoppable force, this is what you guys need to be running on your pass rushers if you want to use them as your X factor. And then of course, anyone you're gonna have pass rushing, your defensive linemen, your outside linebackers, if you have them pass rushing, go with pass rush chem. Now, I've seen a lot of people running with 3 defensive linemen as their X Factor players. Personally, I like to go with the 2 edge rushers and then put someone in the secondary. So really, you can go with your best secondary player if you want, whether it be a corner or, you know, a safety. Personally, I like cornerbacks. I like Mel Blount having mine. And of course, when it comes to the secondary, you want to go with lockdown. So if you guys are running a 4-3 defense, then your outside linebackers, you want to go with lockdown chem on them because it's going to help them a lot with their catching, their play rate, their tackle, the man, the zone. That's what I actually use on my middle linebackers. And then, of course, my corners and safeties all have lockdown. So take advantage of that. Again, get some gold cards if you can't get all elites at your cornerbacks 1 through 5. And then, of course, backup safeties. All that you need to put chemistries on them all. Put lockdown on them. Get that up because you guys can see I have +2 catch, +2 play rate, +1 tackle, press, man, and zone to all my secondary players. That's big. Now, in terms of chems, I like to run tip drill, higher chance catch tip passes, acrobat, which this is probably the best one that you definitely need on someone in the secondary, diving swats and interceptions. I've seen a lot of diving swats from Mel Blount, and it causes a lot of incompletions that way. And I've been running with Lurker, which honestly, spectacular catch animation for lurking defenders. I don't think I've really seen that animation pop up at all. I don't know if it actually does anything. I mean, I've gotten a lot of interceptions with Mel Blount, so maybe this adds to it, but really I don't know if it actually affects that much. Now, you could get better catch and improve stamina on interception returns. Personally, don't really care for it. We already have acrobat. If you wanted, you could go with, you know, clutch or whatever, but all you have to do is get 1 interception, and he gets his thing activated. So Lurker to me is probably the best one. Now, when it comes to the X factors, you can get shutdown or zone hawk, which is more catch knockouts, interceptions, and zone coverage. Personally, I like shutdown, tighter coverage, and more interceptions on contested catches, and that's how I like to do it for my defense, of course. Having lockdown on my cornerbacks and my safeties, my middle linebackers. If you guys run a 4-3 and your outside linebackers are in coverage, put lockdown on them. Your pass rushers, though, go with pass rush. Now, of course, over to the offensive side of the ball. So when it comes to offense, you 100% want to go with a QB, a running back, and a wide receiver. That's my personal preference when it comes to players with X factors and, of course, superstar abilities. Now, when it comes to offense, I like to personally run West Coast Chemistries. As you guys can see, West Coast gives you catching, pass block footwork. It also gives you a pass block finesse, 1 catch in traffic, 1 throw under pressure, 1 short accuracy, 1 short route running. Then, of course, Tier 5 gives you a catch in traffic, throw under pressure. Tier 6 gives you a short and a medium. Now, all of last year, I ran go deep. Now, of course, that gives you beat press, break sack, throw power, spec catch, deep accuracy, yada, yada, yada. But my personal opinion, I like to go with West Coast on my quarterback, my wide receivers, and my tight end. Now, that's not all, though. Also, backup offensive linemen to get that extra chemistry boost, and also backup QB as well. All of them have West Coast. That way I can go ahead and get, you know, I personally have 22 out of 30 players. So I have Tier 4. Now, the reason I like to do that is because I feel like this year, you don't really have a lot of time when it comes to chucking the ball deep because, like I said, pass rush is super, super good. And I think really the way to go this year is just having those quick receivers that you can throw a slant to, make a couple moves after the catch kind of stuff. Not really a jump ball deep guy. So players like Odell, Torrey Holt, although, you know, Torrey Holt is kind of a deep guy. But OBJ, I really like to use him as, you know, throw a corner, maybe throw a 15-yard post route or an in route, a slant, see if I can break some tackles and take to the house. That's what I like to do this year. I think that's probably the better move. So West Coast for me fits better because it gives you that catch in traffic. So you better sit in there, take a hit from a linebacker, take a hit from a safety if you want. So you get the catching, you get the throw under pressure, the short accuracy, the route running. I think West Coast is the way to go when it comes to the offense side of the ball. Of course, offense side of the ball. When it comes to your quarterback, your wide receivers, your tight end, and your backup lineman. Then, of course, when it comes to chemistries, now this varies for QBs. Personally, though, I have Steve Young. You guys already know, escape artist. I'm sure you've seen gameplays of it. Escape artist is insane, okay? Literally the best QB, the best chemistry in the game. The ability right now to have escape artists is honestly overpowered because there's no defensive ends that can keep up with them. Even like having Lawrence Taylor or Von Miller out there. If you have escape artists, you can't get caught. You really can't get caught. As soon as I take a snap, I can scramble to the outside of the pocket, and it doesn't matter if you have a QB can stand up or whatever. You're not going to be able to keep up. Escape Artist is really, really overpowered. Now, of course, I like to use Gutsy Scrambler because I have Escape Artist, so I like to scramble quite a bit. Immunity to Pressure while throwing on the run, because I throw on the run when using Escape Artist. And Roaming Deadeye, perfect pass accuracy while standing outside the pocket, because I scramble outside the pocket. Now, say you have a, you know, just QB that just sits in the pocket. He's Tom Brady or whatever. Personally, when it comes to any of these chems, if these were your chemistries available, consistent catch from running backs who beat their coverage, gift wrapped, homer, indoor baller, and clutch, I'd probably go with clutch. Just because I don't really think these are, you know, higher chance complete pass to uncovered targets. Well, if they're uncovered, you should be able to catch it. Safety valve, running backs who beat their coverage should be able to catch the ball. So I'd like to go with clutch there. Now for the second one, I have used Last Ditch. Personally, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't really care for Last Ditch either. There is, of course, higher chance to evade the first sack by blitzing DB. Higher chance to break the first sack by blitzing... break the sack or evade the first sack. I'd probably rather go with break the first sack, but it really depends on what type of player you are, what kind of QBs you have. And then, of course, Steve Young can also get, you know, red zone Deadeye, sleight of hand, fast break, long range Deadeye. Personally, perfect pass accuracy on all deep throws. Again, I don't really think throwing deep is really the move. Improved ball carrier control on design QB runs. That's pretty cool. Then, of course, there's perfect pass accuracy while throwing the red zone. I really like this because a lot of people like to run, you know, the high point fades, which if I wasn't using Escape Artist, I definitely would use red zone Deadeye. Then, of course, there's high chance success on pump fakes and double moves. That one's whatever to me. I think red zone Deadeye is very good if you guys can get that, but if you get Escape Artist, definitely get that. Now, when it comes to the X Factor ability, right? It took me a minute to actually figure out which one I wanted to go with. So, Brick Wall, break the first sack while in the pocket. I don't really care for that one, honestly. Gambler can't be served by AI defenders. Most of the time, it's going to be users to pick you off. Pro Reads, don't really like that one. Blitz Radar, don't really like that one. Run and Gun, again, it's AI defenders. And then it's basically down to Bazooka and Fearless. Now, Bazooka, max throwing distance increased by 15 yards. Now, of course, you guys already know, when you have Patrick Mahomes, that can throw like 80 yards. I don't see when you need to throw the ball 80 yards. I don't in general have that much time. So I think Bazooka's probably not the best one. I personally like Fearless. Throw actually is unaffected by defensive pressure. Now with how good pass rush is this year, Fearless is pretty clutch. Because you have Fearless in there, you have someone right in your face, you'll still make a good throw. So to me, I think Fearless is the move. Now, of course, when it comes to running back, fullback, and lineman, I run Zone Run because it gives you spin, juke, carry, run block, elusiveness, and run block finesse. My backup linemen are the ones that have West Coast, and my starters have Zone Run. Now, of course, comes abilities for Marcus Allen. Personally, Spin Cycle is nice, but it doesn't matter because I'll show you guys in a second. So I like to go with Clutch. Then, of course, Backfield Mismatch because he really can't get any other chemistries besides that. And then Evasive. You guys have to know Evasive is really, really good. Faster animations for spin and juke moves. It is extremely easy to hit a double move, hit a double juke or something, and juke out 2 or 3 people with evasive chemistry. I think it's extremely good. Now, of course, if you can get Bruiser or Armbar onto the running backs, definitely recommend you can. Evasive to me, though, I think Armbar is really good, right? Armbar, you can definitely break it loose. But to me, Armbar is really only going to be good for the first person that comes in contact with you. Evasive, I can juke out 2 or 3 people at a time. I personally like Evasive even more. And then, of course, when it comes to X Factors, Freight Train. Increased chance to break the next tackle attempt. I think, without a doubt, this is the best X Factor. And then my final X Factor player, of course, is Torrey Holt on the offense side of the ball. Now, this really comes down to your personal scheme. I like to run in specialist, better route running and catching on in routes. And then, of course, I like to run a route technician, which gives him quicker cuts while running routes. There's also matchup nightmare, which is versus linebackers. When you get a wide receiver versus linebacker. Slot-o-matic, it really depends where you line up your receivers. Do you line them up in the slot? Do you run crossing routes? Do you run out routes, slants? What do you personally run? I run a lot of ins when it comes to Torrey Holt. And then I use outside apprentice because he's on the outside. Personally, though, I think I might end up switching this once I get a better slot receiver or I get a receiver to put on the outside, because slot apprentice actually does, I believe, it gives you crossing routes and some really, really good routes. So I think actually slot apprentice is probably the best one to use. But I have Torrey Holt on the outside for now, so I like to run outside apprentice, which he does get the post route. He gets corner routes. He gets post corner, which can be really, really good. And then he also gets fade stop, I think it's called. He gets some sort of fade. So Torrey Holt, those are my chemistries I like to run. And then, of course, Double Me is the best one. Win aggressive catch versus single coverage. There's Rack 'em Up and Max Security. Don't really care for those. I think Double Me is the best one. Now, those are the chemistries I personally like to run on offense and on defense. If you guys have, maybe you like to run a different chemistry, leave me a reason down below why you guys like to use that or a different X Factor. Maybe you like to use even an offensive lineman for one of your X Factor players. And do not forget, when it comes to activating these players, you need to do it in your lineup before you go into the game. You can see I have Torrey Holt, Steve Young, Marcus Allen, and defensively, LT, Von Miller, and Mel Blount. With that being said, though, I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and if you did, smack the like button, subscribe, and comment. I'll see you guys next time.